Live, local, and talking about the teams that matter to you. This is Talkin Sports with Jim Shovlin on Fort Wayne Sports Station, 1380 The Fan and 100.9 FM. Brought to you by McMahon's Best One Tire and Auto Care.
Well, good morning. Good morning. This is Blake Sebring. I am not Jim Shovlin. Longtime Fort Wayne journalist and author and writer and sports fan and sports reporter. Jim is not on spring break today like usual, like he planned. Jim is actually in the hospital. He's recovering from quadruple bypass surgery, and thank the Lord it all went well. And it was pretty serious stuff, folks. I mean, anytime you have a bypass surgery, it's pretty serious. But Jim was being bullheaded as usual. I know you're shocked. And Di had to kick his rear end a few times, I think, and get him going. I'll try not to make a bunch of laughs today because I know Jim is listening, and it's not good to make a bypass person laugh right away. I mean, it's hard. It hurts. But he's doing well, and well enough that he could listen, which is even better. And I guess I would just say, folks, if you take anything from this, tell people that you love them. You never know when it's going to be the last chance, the last time you get that opportunity. And when Jim called me Wednesday night to give me the news and asked me to fill in today, I'm very thankful that I said, I love you, bud, because you just never know. And everybody needs to hear more of that these days. And it's never a bad thing. And if you're worried about, somebody saying it back to you, that's more about you than it is them. Say it. Don't hesitate. I've got 6 godsons, and I always make them give me a hug next time I see him, because you never know when it's the last time you get to see him. And none of this one-arm bro hug either. It's got to be a real deal, and I never regret it. And I don't think they do either, because they know how I feel about them. And it's more important to me that they know how I feel about them. So just tell people you love them. They need to hear it, and you need to say it. So it's never a bad thing. So anyway, on to the more fun stuff. Today we're going to talk about, we're going to have Mike McCaffrey from St. Francis. The women are in Sioux City, Iowa, and they got a game against the number 1 ranked team today coming, which will be a blast. And then we're going to talk to Brett Rump about the Semi-State games. He's in Elkhart this morning. How'd you like to, wake up really early to have to drive to Elkhart of all places? Come on. But he's going to get to see 2 great games. The Semi-State this morning, we've got Homestead against Northridge and Snyder against Crown Point in Elkhart. In Logansport, we've got New Haven against Delta and Columbia City versus East Chicago Central in 3A. 2A, we've got Bishop Lures taking on Oak Hill. Boy, the Knights have turned their season around. And we're going to talk to Brett about that coming up soon. We're like 2 weeks away from the Tin Caps opening. I mean, that seems a little crazy with all this weather we're getting through, especially the fog this morning.
Yeah.
But it's kind of all right. Adam Lundy is sitting by to help me and
good morning,
and help me get through all this today, because there's a lot going on. I mean, and we're gonna cut out early today so we can get the broadcast over to Brett from Elkhart. And thank God for Brett. Nobody does it like Brett, and he's been doing it forever. And thank goodness. Man alive. You look at high school sports, and if it wasn't for Brett, there wouldn't be hardly any broadcasting going on anymore. It's not like it was when we were growing up, and I don't know that it'll get back, but at least he's keeping it alive.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
keeping the tradition alive.
One of the soldiers on the front lines there of high school basketball, keeping it afloat. He's willing to go anywhere, cover any game, just for the love of it. Girls and high school football. And I'm sure he'll probably end up doing a baseball game or two, because that's his true love. Mm-hmm. It's just amazing.
We're also going to talk to Shane Albahrani from the Komets coming up. They won last night 3-2 in Cincinnati, which is more significant than you think because they were down 2-0 after the first period and came back to win in overtime. They have 13 games left, and they are right there with Toledo. They're 3 points back. They both played 59 games, and the Komets have 2 games with Toledo left, both of them at home coming up. Like, the Komets are 7-2-1 in their last 10, so they're kind of turning it up. The problem is Toledo is 9-1 over their last 10. So every game from here on in is a sprint to the finish. And the Komets, they're in Cincinnati again tonight. So Purdue won last night over Queensland, or Queens, not Queensland, that's Australia. Sorry, I would have known that. But the reason that came up is because some of the media, maybe from Queens, were trying to make a big deal out of Purdue didn't know where Queens was. And I'm like, yeah, does Queens have any idea where Purdue is other than Indiana? You know, I mean, it's not like that's a right off the tip of your tongue either. Braden Smith got 26 points and 8 assists to set the NCAA career assists record that was held by Bobby Hurley. I mean, my gosh. Only people listening to this radio broadcast remember who Bobby Hurley was and how good he was and all the amazing talent that he got to dish the ball to. And I think you could argue Braden beating that record is astronomical because you look at Purdue and who they've had over the years, you compare that to who Bobby Hurley had to pass to, and there is no comparison at all. And Braden is a much better scorer than Hurley ever was. Hurley didn't really shoot much, and there was a reason for that because he couldn't shoot, you know. But Braden does a really good job with that. Fletcher Lawyer from Fort Wayne had 14 points. And I was telling Adam before the show, I think Purdue only goes as far as Fletcher takes them. And it's got to be offensively and defensively. If he can score, he scored 14 last night. If he can score 14 or better each game and outscore whoever he's guarding, they got a shot to go a long way. But if he's not hitting one game and the guy he's guarding they're in big trouble. Big trouble. Because I think he's the key to their entire defense. If he's stopping his guy, they've got a great chance. If he's not, they're in trouble because they really don't have anybody to sub in and guard whoever he's supposed to be taking care of. Purdue plays Miami tomorrow at 12:10. That'll be on CBS, which means you'll get to see it locally on Channel 15. And supposedly Purdue's like a 7-point favorite right now. That's a dangerous number for them, I think, because that's when they get in trouble, is if they're more than 5 points but below 10, over somebody, that's when, somebody gets fired up. So going back to the Queens thing about where they're located, I've already forgotten, Adam. Where are they located?
North Carolina.
Okay.
That's all I got for you. I couldn't even tell you where.
We could have given away a prize if anybody would have known that,
You have a prize?
No, I really don't.
Then there would go. But
yeah. But the thing is like if they were trying, I guess somebody in the media was trying to get Queens fired up or give them bulletin board material, and I'm like, you know what? If you need bulletin board material at this time of year, there's something wrong with you. You shouldn't need any bulletin board material. You should be able to fire yourself up at this time of year for any sport, basically. It's like you really need to get the juices going. Give me a break.
Yeah. Those mid-majors, if you're looking for something, any sort of extra motivation, I guess. But didn't matter yesterday, 104-71. Boilers roll over Queens.
Yeah, they really took it to them in the second half.
Yep.
Trey Kaufman-Wren, I think, had 25. And it's nice to see him. Well, I know it's Queens. Sorry. But, it's nice to see him starting to be more productive like he was last year.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, no, there's no question Purdue was playing their best ball coming into the tournament, winning the Big Ten championship, and good start to the first round. So they just got to keep playing the way they are. But like you said, Lawyer needs to, keep playing that defense, hitting those threes. I
got some friends who got some tickets to the Final Four this year because it's in Indy and
Fantastic.
Purdue fans, and they were like bumming out because they didn't think there's any way they could get there. I'm like, Purdue plays like they did in the Big Ten tournament where they dictate the style,
that's what I said.
They got a chance. They really do. Now, will they get there? Can they do it that consistently? That's been the question all year. So I think we're going to go to a break here, and we're going to come back and talk to Brett from Elkhart about what he's getting ready to do up there, and we'll be back after this. As someone who remembers the summer of '69, barely, but I remember it. Welcome back. This is Blake Sebring filling in for Jim Shovlin on Talkin Sports. We got a text in from a friend of the show and just a great friend, period, Mike Moss, who just recently was inducted into the Purdue Fort Wayne Athletics Hall of Fame, who mentions that Queens, gosh, I'm going to get stuck doing that all day, and that's Adam's fault. He put it
Australia,
Clough from Australia into my head on this one. Thank you very little. Queens is part of the Midwest Intercollegiate Volleyball Association now, and they are Purdue Fort Wayne is going to Queens in Charlotte, North Carolina, April 2nd and 3rd to play them. So that's kind of an interesting tidbit from Mike.
Shout out to you, Mike Moz.
As always, I mean, the Wizard of Moz. What a greatest. I wish I'd have given him that nickname because that's like the greatest nickname in 20 years. Easy. All right, we're back, and we're going to go to Brett Rump right now, who is in beautiful downtown Elkhart for the Class 4A Semi-State today. He's going to get to see Homestead versus Northridge and Snyder versus Ground Point. How you doing, bud?
Doing well. You know, one way to be sure you found the right spot and you're in Elkhart, Indiana, is if you're stopped by a train, you know you've made it to Elkhart, Indiana.
It's either that or New Haven, yeah.
Yeah, it's bad here.
So Brett was making some disparaging remarks off air about how he's located in a corner, and he was saying the print media should be located in the corner and the radio guys should be down on, in the middle. And it's like anybody who's been a fan, especially like a hockey fan, knows the best place to watch the games are not straight on. It's in a corner because you can see everything there. And, it's like Brett forgot who was controlling the microphone in the discussion today, I think.
No, I fully understand. I'm just saying that when you're going solo up here in the corner and you've got a pretty good distance from the court, especially the opposite half court, and one of the teams wears black jerseys with dark green numbers, and you're also behind the officials who give the signal for fouls and things like that to the scorer's table. It's a long way for these old eyes to be able to see. So I'll do my best, but it is exciting here, and I will tell you something. This first game between Northridge and Homestead, Blake, Northridge, they're only about 30 minutes away, and they are going to pack this place. You are going to hear the Northridge fan base because they are pumped up about this. It's their first ever semi-state appearance. They are a 25-1 basketball team, and the entire community of Middlebury is behind this Northridge Raiders squad. They've got two college players, both going into the NAIA, both going into the Crossroads League, where you've got Indiana Wesleyan with Brady Scholl averaging 25 points a game. He's a 6'7" big. And then they've got Hayden Johnson, who's going to come right there to the Summit City and play for St. Francis. He's signed. He's a 6'2" senior at 14 a game. Those two kids have led this Northridge team to an unbelievable season. They're currently number 6 in 4A. It's a big task for Homestead and Snyder today because both of them take on top 6 ranked teams in the state of Indiana. But as we saw last week, rankings are nothing but a number. Snyder took on Carmel last week after the Greyhounds had defeated the number 1 ranked team in the state and the overwhelming favorite to win state, Fishers. And Carmel got that win, or Snyder got that win over Carmel last week. So should be a fun day here in Elkhart.
So, what are your thoughts on these two games? I mean, how much chance did the local teams have?
Yeah, it's going to be a challenge. But, this Homestead team under Chris Johnson, and you can't count out any team that's coached by Chris Johnson. I mean, the guy's been around 32 years in Fort Wayne coaching high school basketball. Of course, the first 5 of those were at Bishop Dwenger before he moved to Homestead, where he has basically had himself planted on the Homestead bench for 27 seasons. He's approaching 500 wins with Homestead. He's got 548 victories in high school basketball coaching. But Homestead comes in 20-6. They're going to have to figure out, do they zone up against this Northridge squad? Do they try to double on Shoal? They'll have some kind of a game plan, and we'll see. I mean, I trust that Homestead can keep this game close, make it interesting. And, hey, that's all you've got to try to do here at this level. When you get to the semi-state, everybody's going to be good. Everybody's going to have a gaudy record. And what you need to do is you got to find a way to compete and give yourself a chance. And for Homestead, I think they'll be able to get a fighter's chance. This is a Homestead team that might be a couple of years away if you look at them on paper, because and maybe a year away, but they've got a young group. I mean, with Ryder Immel, a sophomore who hits over 40% of his threes, Mason Weaver, their freshman point guard, Jake Kuhlman, and Mac Welker, a couple of juniors that have a couple of years of varsity experience. And so it's a young team. It's not a team that's going to be led by a bunch of seniors. On the other side, Northridge, a very veteran squad, led by a senior core. But then game number 2 should be a lot of fun with Crown Point. They have become regulars here at the semi-state. It's their 3rd straight semi-state appearance, and both times previously they ran into Fishers. So Crown Point's going to come in game 2 today against Snyder, kind of feeling like they've got a real fighter's chance because Fishers isn't part of this field. And they come in 23-1. And they've got the semi-state experience, and they've also got a real star in Dikembe Shaw, 6'7" senior. Can play the wing, can post you up. He's going to be going to the University of Illinois Chicago to play his college ball. That'll be the challenge for Snyder in game number 2.
Okay, Bud, what do you think about the 2 games, Logansport and Bishop Luers in Muncie?
Well, New Haven, I love what New Haven's doing. That's a veteran squad. Love how they're playing, and I think New Haven's got a real chance to get through at Logansport. And then, Bishop Luers, we always talk about it. It's a ball club that couldn't compete for the SAC title. They ran into the upper echelon, and they just couldn't get over that hump. But it is a team that when you put them into Class 2A, they could and maybe even should beat just about anybody. Really keeping my fingers crossed that we have a big day today for the 260, and next week we're talking about state championship games down at Cambridge Fieldhouse, because that's what they're playing for. And a reminder, too, to a lot of the old-timers, this is the format that used to be at the regional level. You're going to have 2 games this afternoon, and then the 2 winners have to come back tonight to actually punch the ticket to Indy. So if Homestead and or Snyder are victorious in the first games today, we'll be right back here in our perch up in the corner, sitting with what should be print media and ready to call the game tonight.
All right, just for that, I'm cutting you off. That's it. You're done. You are done.
You've got bigger and better guests coming up.
Well, obviously.
I'm just a yacker waiting for my basketball game.
All right, bud, we'll let you get ready. And, man, it sounds like you're going to have a lot of fun today.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty exciting. A lot of energy in the building.
Yeah. Well, okay, Brett Rump, we're going to send it to him before the regular closing time today, so he can get you guys set up for the broadcast from Elkhart. And we're going to come back, and we're going to talk with Mike McCaffrey from St. Francis. The Cougars have a fairly big game today coming up in Sioux City, Iowa. So we're going to be coming back to talk to Mike. This is Talkin Sports on 1380 AM. Good morning, everyone. This is not Jim Shovelin. This is Blake Sebring, and I'm filling in for Jim, who had quadruple bypass surgery on, I believe it was Thursday. And he's doing well. He's off the ventilator. He texted and said he was going to listen today. And we are joined now by St. Francis. Mike, are you still the athletic director, or are you running the place yet?
No.
I mean, you might as well be, I'm guessing.
No. They don't want that. No, I am, technically my title is vice president for student life and athletics now, but I'm still the athletic director. I've got 2 great assistant athletic directors doing most of the work in the athletics department now, though.
So what that tells me is you're doing all the work, you just don't have the full title yet. Because if you're doing everything for student...
I have the title, I'm just not doing the work.
Yeah, well, there you go. Yeah, I know better than that, though. I'm not buying that. I'm sure your wife's not buying that either.
No. It's busy, same, still busy work, just different work. I used to only worry about student athletes and what went on in athletics and try to focus my attention on them and what I could do to provide them a good experience. Now I've got, 1,600 students that I'm worried about instead of just 400. So but I got a great team around me. So, that's the key to success is, hire a bunch of people and put them around you that are smarter than you are.
Well, that's true. You got Reggie Hayes, so there's one. We know that. I mean,
amen. Every time I say something publicly, he's there. So that at least saves me from embarrassing myself in public.
Got a question. How in the world are you guys, the number 2 seed, playing the number 1 seed in the semifinals? What's up with that?
Yeah, it's of each bracket, right? So each bracket has a 1 seed. So there's 4 1 seeds and there's 4 2 seeds.
Okay.
So in our bracket, Dort was the 1 seed. We were the highest 2 seeds. So it was kind of a toss-up. We thought going into the tournament we might be the 4th 1 seed. We ended up being the first 2 seed, and Dort ended up sneaking ahead of us in the final rankings to become the last 1 seed. So they won their game out here. We won our. Well, obviously you had to get through the first 2 rounds, which they had at their place, we had at our place. So we both won the first 2, made it out here. They got by their opponent, and then we got into a dogfight with Hastings the other day, but ended up pulling it out at the end because we've got some girls that are just tough as heck, and they were not ready to be done with this season, and it wasn't easy. And the style of play that Hastings played was something we don't see all the time. They press you a lot. They throw up threes from just places that are just not normal, and when you make a few of them, it keeps you in a game. If they missed them, we probably would have blown them out, but they ended up making a few of them. So it took us a while to settle in and get comfortable, but once that 4th quarter came around and Callie Gregory reminded everybody that she's probably one of the best players in this tournament. And then coming off the bench with Emma Royce and Allie Shuey and Taylor Fordyce has been playing so well the last month. Julia Mantula, everybody had a hand in this thing the other day, and that's what you need when you get to this time of the season.
So in other words, the perfect kind of game to set you up for taking on number 1, really, because you guys are battle-tested right away.
Yeah, no question. I mean, we feel like we're battle-tested coming out of the Crossroads League anyway. And we probably match up better with Dort, who is easily, obviously 2-time defending champion. They're at home, so this is going to be an interesting game. Our kids are going to have a heck of a time playing in front of, 3,000 Dort fans. It was a wild environment the other day. They played before us. We got there and watched them, and Dort's only 10 minutes from Sioux City, so they're unofficially the home team. They're not a host team or anything, but they're right here, and every year they pack this place. So luckily we get to go in, as Jeremy Henney said to the girls after the win, it was, look, this is the first time in a long time we're going to get to go in as an underdog. Mm-hmm. Let's enjoy it. Let's embrace it. Let's love this environment that we're going to get to play in. And, we have a shot. I mean, they've got some areas that we think we can exploit. And, again, we're the number 5 team in the country for a reason.
Well, I would think there's nobody more dangerous than a St. Francis women's basketball team as an underdog. I mean, the tradition and the history that St. Francis has in women's basketball, all the way back to Larry Westendorf. And, come on. I mean, and Gary Andrews. I mean, there's really nothing you guys haven't accomplished. And I wouldn't want to play on the as an underdog.
No, I'm sure our team slept a little better than Dort did last night. That's my hope.
Yeah,
that they're a little more nervous now. They've got one of the most dynamic players I've ever seen in the NAI at point guard. I guess she's maybe 7 or 8 rebounds away from being the first girls basketball player in NAIA history to have 1,000 points, 1,000 rebounds, and 1,000 assists. I mean, she's the real deal. And you watch her, and she's pretty darn good. So we're going to have to make sure that we don't let her beat us, make somebody else beat us. We've got some areas where I think we can exploit on them and hopefully have some success. But we just got to keep those big fans quiet. There's nothing more fun than walking into an arena and shutting up 3,000 people.
So who gets the assignment of guarding her?
Well, you know who that is. That's Isabella Gizzi. She's our top defender, and she has been for since the day she walked into Hutzel. She was runner-up for Defensive Player of the Year in the conference, and she always defends the best player on the floor. So Bella's going to be all over. She's going to get to know her really well tonight, and hopefully that can lead us to a victory.
So it sounds like if you guys can keep her under 1,000 rebounds, that might be the whole key to the game.
Yeah, I mean, she is the key. I mean, there's no question. They've got some other players. Obviously, you're not as good as they are without having other players. But I think just matchup wise, we've got some things going for us. And they were pretty locked in yesterday at practice. They're heading off to shoot around right now to get some last shots in, and then come back to the hotel and rest up, and then head over. There's one game before us at 1:00, so I'll probably head over and watch that with the coaches, and then the team will come over and we'll get ready to rock and roll. And 3:00 our time, 4:00 your time. It'll be a shot at the Final Four.
How much are you sleeping this week? Because I mean, the schedule doesn't let up. It's not just women's basketball this week, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I was watching a lot of softball and baseball yesterday. Luckily, got to watch two sweeps yesterday over there at Hutzel. Unfortunately, I wasn't there to watch it, but good to see softball get a comeback in the first one and then take care of business in the second one. And baseball, get a couple wins over Grace. They need those. They need to stack a few of those together. And then we kicked off our women's flag football schedule at home this year, the first ever in the state of Indiana. So we hosted one last night between two teams, and then we play today. There's 4 games today, I believe, over at the stadium. So yeah, it's springtime. Tennis played. We're rocking and rolling, and as you know, this time of year, as long as the weather is going to give us a chance to play in Indiana, we're going to play. So it's but it's nice when you go on the road every once in a while. You can sleep till maybe 8 or so.
Yeah, exactly.
So I've enjoyed that a little bit the last 2 days.
Yeah, I would guess, and your wife probably hasn't because, you know.
Nah, she's taking care of everything.
I was going to say.
She already got Balin over to the Bishop Lures. They got their last show choir competition down in Noblesville today, so she had to take care of him, and unfortunately I'm not going to be there for him today, but I'll be watching online and cheering for the Bishop Lures and Minstrels down there in Noblesville.
What's your travel schedule look like the rest of the month?
Well, for this month, I've just got this, and we'll see depending on today how long I'm in Sioux City, Iowa, and then I'll be back home. I've got a little retreat that I have to go to in Mishawaka later this week, and then next month, April, is the NAIA convention. So that's a week-long deal out in Kansas City that I go to. But other than that, that's about it. I'm excited to get back home and go out there now that the weather's finally good. Go watch some baseball and softball and women's flag football at St. Francis.
All right, most important, do you get to take your wife to any of these?
No, she doesn't come to Sioux City. Like if it was in San Diego or West Palm Beach or something, she'd be here. She picks and chooses which one she goes to with me. She doesn't go to every one because obviously we've got a 15-year-old that needs to get to school. But when the convention has been at some pretty cool locations, she's gone with me, and we enjoy ourselves there. And I probably go to less sessions at conventions when she's with me. So this one, she won't go to Kansas City. There's nothing exciting in Kansas City for her. She's a vegetarian, so I can't even sell her on barbecue. Yeah.
Wow.
So no, she skips Kansas City, but it's in San Antonio next year, so I guarantee you she'll be with me.
The Riverwalk. You got to do the Riverwalk.
Yeah.
Skip the Alamo. The Alamo is so disappointing, and do the Riverwalk like as many times as possible.
Yeah, I've never been. I'm excited to go check it out.
The Riverwalk is really cool. I mean, it is. Yeah, we'll talk next year. I want to hear your reactions to the Riverwalk. Don't go to the Alamo. It's such a letdown. It's unbelievable.
I've heard that.
I mean,
I like the history of it, but I've heard that it's just not what they tell you it's supposed to be.
When I went, there was a Burger King on one side and a bank on the other. And you're thinking it's out in the country 70 miles, and it's like, no, it's 2 blocks from the hotel. And it's like, oh, what a bummer,
We'll figure that one out next year.
Yeah. Well, that'll be fun. Yeah, she needs a recommendation to go. Have her call me. I mean,
Right on.
That's a fun one. I mean, that's a great trip.
That should be an easy sell. I shouldn't have to sell her too hard on that one.
Okay, so my last question for you, Bud. How nervous do you get before a game like this today?
There's a few spots in the floors behind the hoop, whatever one we're at, that usually gets wore out by me because I'm a pacer. So whether it's the other championships I've been to, there's spots in the turf in Daytona that are probably worn to the ground. I mean, I'm a pretty nervous dude when it comes to this stuff, just because I want it so bad for our coaches and for our student athletes, and I can't do anything about it. I don't have control of this one, so it's fun, it's awesome, I love it, but I get a little nerved up and I pace. That's what I do. I can't sit, so you won't see me on the live feed because I'm usually off to the side behind one of the goal posts. So it'll probably be tonight, the one to the right, because our bench is on the right tonight. So you'll see me probably in a polo or a pullover, walking up and down, pacing around, trying to find a lucky spot. That's kind of my thing. So I found it in the fourth quarter the other day. I was in a few different spots. We were losing. I went to this other spot in the fourth quarter. They started coming back, so I didn't move. So tonight I'm going to try to duplicate that spot on the other end and see how that works out.
Awesome. How cool is it that you have a job that you care about it that much? That is spectacular.
It's awesome. I don't work a day in my life. You know what I mean? It's a blessing to be at St. Francis and to be here as long as I have, given what my career track record was before I got to St. Francis, where there was probably I don't think I spent anywhere longer than 2 or 3 years. And now here I am going into year 19 at St. Francis. That's pretty incredible. But I'm blessed. You know what I mean? You mentioned the Gary Andrews and the Kevin Donnellys and the Chad Lacrosses and all the people that have given me these kinds of experiences. It's awesome, and it gets me motivated every day. And now going to work on behalf of all of our students in student life and doing some of those things gives you another kind of jolt of energy, something new now after all these years that I get to try to leave my mark and it impacts students. So that's what it's all about, man.
Can't beat that, man. That is Mike McCaffrey, the Vice President of Student Life and Athletics from St. Francis. Let's hope today you get another one of those experiences, bud.
Amen, brother. I appreciate it.
All right, we'll talk to you later.
Okay, thanks, Blake. Take care, and prayers up to Chevy. He texted me yesterday, so I know he's doing well, and at least the thumbs are working right now, and I know he's got a recovery, but obviously prayers up for him. We've been praying for him out here, and I know so is everybody back home. So we love you, Chevy.
I have a feeling Mike's going to have no idea or Jim's going to have no idea how much better he's going to feel now. All right, this is Talkin Sports on 1380 AM. We're going to be back with Shane Albahrani from the Komets. Good morning. We are back, and we're going to talk to Shane Albahrani from the Komets right now. Shane, I think last night's game was huge. I mean, coming back from being down 2-0 on the road and winning 3-2 in overtime. I mean, not to mention the standings and where things are at with that. I think this game was huge last night.
Yeah, it was a big game, I thought, really, because of the way the lineup is continuing to be shuffled here. Last night, we didn't get the guys that were thought to be back in the lineup because we made deadline deals. No Josh Atkinson, no Logan Nelson. So you were kind of had a patchwork lineup once again. And I'll tell you what, the rookies really stepped up. Thomas Sinclair, I think, he may have been a find for the Komets. It always seems like every year there's a team or two that just finds a guy out of college, that really takes control and really is a guy you can rely on. I saw that last year, in Toledo with Colby Ambrosio. He pretty much won the series against the Komets for them. But Sinclair was great. Jens Richards made his debut last night. I thought he played really well. But this team has persevered throughout the season, and that was the team in Cincinnati who was sitting there in fourth place. They finally got to the fourth and final playoff spot, and the Komets, they're still trying to chase down Toledo, and knowing that Toledo had won earlier in the night, we really needed those 2 points. So I thought it was great that everybody kind of dug down deep, and that was only the fifth time this season the Komets have come from behind in the third period to win a game. So, so important, Blake. And I think tonight's going to be even more of a grind because now Cincinnati, now they're tied with Bloomington for the fourth spot. So it's essentially a playoff game for them.
How's the schedule break down? I know you got 13 games left, 2 with Toledo, but how does it contribute to road versus home right now?
Well, it's pretty much after tonight, we've got 2 games on the road. That's it. And the Komets actually, had a chance to tie the all-time mark. The Komets have 22 road wins, and if they win out on the road, they'll tie the all-time record for most wins on the road in a season. But that's not the problem. We've struggled a little bit at home, 13, 11, and 2 at the Coliseum, and now you're playing the bulk of your final 10 games at home, which is nice. You want that home cooking, but again, the Komets have struggled a little bit. But if you look at the opponents, every game, with the exception of 2 against Iowa, they're playoff games because every team you're playing is in the playoff race. You're playing Indy, you're playing Bloomington, you're playing Cincinnati, you're playing Kalamazoo, and you got 1 game against Wheeling, who are trying to win their division as well. So, every game is a postseason matchup from here on out.
Has there been a common theme about the home games this year?
Boy, you know what? I've been asked that question a lot. I know the players have been asked. I know the coaches have been asked. Really, no one has any explanation behind it. They've played better as of late at home, so that's a good sign. But, no, there's really no rhyme or reason to it. It just seems like we are just a different team. We are on the road as we are at home. Like take Sam Janssen, his goals against on the road is just a little over 1, but at home it's close to 4. So it's just crazy. It's nothing that we can really explain, but it'll be interesting to see how we play this going down, especially in the playoffs as far as the goaltenders go, since Sam Janssen has been so good on the road and Nathan Day's been better at home, whether that's going to be kind of the rotation.
I remember Ronnie Elliott. Yes, I'm old, folks. He once took the guys on a bus trip around for like an hour before a home game once to try to get them figured out. And Robbie Laird threatened that. I mean, has anybody even suggested that? I mean, this is getting pretty desperate here.
But that's actually a great point. If we could rent the bus for a couple hours, like we're going to drive, we're going to go, we're going to drive to Indy and back, and then we'll play the game.
We're doing a coffee run, sell it that way or something, and I'm sure the guys wouldn't like it, but I mean, what do you got to lose if they're ticked off coming into a home game? Maybe that's a good thing.
Absolutely.
So why wasn't the lineup what they were expecting last night?
Well, it wasn't that what they were expecting. It was, you still got guys, a few guys on injured reserve. I think maybe if they were expecting to maybe come off, but then you've got the rookies. One is that was his pro debut. Another one that was his 3rd game. He made the trades. Logan Nelson didn't make it in town in time. Josh Atkinson actually is not available. He's serving a 3-game suspension, so he won't be available till next weekend. And you move guys out of the lineup. Josh Bull got traded. Luke Anno was also traded. So, again, it's just like it's the ECHL. So, you don't have the same lineup back-to-back nights very rarely. But I would expect tonight, outside of the goaltender, I think this is what we have for tonight.
I'd stick with it. I mean, really, what do you got to lose at this point? If they played that well in the last 2 periods, just go with it.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't expect any changes to the lineup here tonight. I don't. Well, with the exception of maybe Nick Deacon-Poot, who they want to get some playing time in. He's kind of been the odd man out the past couple of months. So he was a healthy scratch. So we'll probably find a way to get him in the lineup here tonight.
I mean, it's got to be crazy for you to see this home versus road. I mean, my gosh, you've been a Komets fan since like the 70s. I mean, I wonder if it's the big crowds or what,
I've always said that because I know years and years ago, back in the UHL days where some of the guys actually said that, where, we're just scared. We don't want to disappoint these fans. So the next thing you know, you're gripping the sticks a little bit harder. You're just taking those unforced errors, But this group, they're not saying anything to that effect. They're just saying they can't explain it. So, but you know what? Hey, they're kids, but, you're playing in front of 10,000 people, some of the best fans in all of minor league hockey, and, you do not want to disappoint them. So I think that kind of plays into the psychology of it.
Well, and it's not like you get to play in front of huge crowds like this. from the college programs these kids are coming from or from juniors. I mean, it just isn't.
And I think, the mindset of these guys on the road, when they go into a Toledo or a place like that, or even down in Florida where they've got good crowds as well, and you love to shut up that crowd. You love to get that first goal, and you love to keep the home team down. So I think, it's one of those things where would you rather hit a home run or deny one? So
yeah. All right, Shane, we'll be listening tonight, and this is the last game of the weekend, right?
Yes, it is, and we got 3 games next weekend. They're all going to be big ones. We got Bloomington, Indy, and Indy again. So home and home with Indy. So those are all playoff games next weekend.
Gotcha. All right, bud. We'll be listening.
All right. Thanks a lot, Blake.
Well, last thing is this was been Talkin Sports. Jim Shovlin is recovering from quadruple bypass surgery. This is Blake Sebring filling in. I don't know what the plan is for next week. I have a feeling Jim would want to be back, but I don't know that his wife will let him, and good for her. I don't know what the plan is for next week, but somebody will be here filling in. So we're going to send it over to Brett after this break to start the semi-state basketball coverage. It's been fun, and thanks to Adam Lundy for getting me through this today. And somebody will be here next week, folks. Keep your prayers going for Shovey. Goodbye.